Without further ado, I'll give the floor to Michel Barnier.
Thank you, Margaritis, and good morning to all of you. I'm very pleased to be with you today, and as you know, I've asked to organize a technical briefing just after my press conference with my deputy, Sabine Veillant, my principal advisor, Stéphanie Rizzo, and the cabinet of the president, Richard Shostak, to go into details of this negotiating directive. The college has just adopted a few hours, 2 hours ago. Ladies and gentlemen, since my first statement in this press room 5 months ago, we have worked a lot with the President Juncker, his team, and all the services of the Commission, with President Tusk and his team, with Member States, the European Parliament, and with Antonio Tajani and Guy Verhofstadt, and national parliaments. I and my team have met with representatives of the business community in each member state, trade unions, and civil society, and we will continue. Our hard work paid off. The result of our collective work is what happened last Saturday. The 27 leaders and the president of the 3 institutions showing their unity by agreeing on clear guidelines for the negotiation. Today, the Commission proposes a recommendation that translates these guidelines into negotiating directives. In line with a 2-phase approach, these directives are for the first phase of the negotiations only. Our recommendation shows where we want to land when we conclude the first phase of negotiations, notably on citizens' rights, the financial settlement, and the new external borders. I will pay great attention to the situation in Ireland, and I will go to Ireland next week. The UK must put a great deal of energy and effort into these 3 issues over the next weeks and months, and that will increase the chances of reaching a deal. Some have created the illusion that Brexit would have no material impact on our lives, or that negotiations can be concluded quickly and painlessly. This is not the case. We need sound solutions, we need legal precision, and this will take time. Quelques mots maintenant sur le contenu.
A few words now on the substance of the negotiating directives. And first of all, citizens' rights. Citizens' rights are our first priority. There are more than 4 million Europeans who live in the UK, or British citizens who live on the territory of the 27 others. Now, our objective is very clear. These men, women, children, their families have to be able to continue to live as they do today and for life. Who are we trying to protect? Who do we want to protect? Not just those who live and work today in the United Kingdom, but also those people who have resided or worked there in the past, those who will reside there or work there before the date at which the United Kingdom exits, and members of their family. And what I'm saying, of course, applies to British citizens who live and work in any one of the 27 countries of the European Union. But what rights precisely are we trying to protect? Do we wish to protect? Not just the right to reside there, but also the rights related to the labour market, access to education, access to healthcare, and recognition of diplomas and/or qualifications. All those rights have to be protected and guaranteed on the basis of the law of the Union guaranteed by the Court of Justice of the European Union. The second subject of these immediate negotiations, this first phase of negotiations, is the financial settlement. Now, there too, our objective is clear and was restated by the European Council on Saturday. The United Kingdom will have to respect, in a single financial settlement, which will cover all the financial relations between the United Kingdom and the European Union, all the commitments that they've entered into as a member of the Union. Now, this is not a punishment, nor is it an exit tax of some kind. The Union and the United Kingdom have mutual commitments. They've committed to financing programs and projects together. We decided these programs together. We benefit from them together, and we finance them together. That money is committed. And I know precisely how this happens, because it was an honor and a privilege for me to be the commissioner in charge of the structural funds a little while back. This money is committed to projects throughout Europe. There are thousands of local authorities, of stakeholders, of businesses which are involved in these projects. And you can imagine, well, you should be able to imagine, the political and legal problems that would arise were those problems to be cut or shortened. We basically have to close the account, and it's no more and no less than that.
No punishment. There is no Brexit bill. The financial settlement is only about settling the accounts. Notre objectif au cours
Our objective during the first phase will be to agree with the United Kingdom on a rigorous methodology to calculate those obligations. A third point is governance. The agreement with the United Kingdom will have to have effective implementation and dispute settlement mechanisms. And whenever the European Union law is involved, for example, on citizens or the financial settlement, we will have to go and depend on the Court of Justice of the European Union. Otherwise, the rights defined by the agreement for citizens are just an illusion, a promise.
Will be extraordinary. They are a source of concern for many, many citizens and many organizations. We need to respond by being transparent. This is why we are publishing today our recommendation for the Council's negotiation directives. We will be transparent throughout the process. Transparency can help sustaining a constructive public debate. And in these negotiations, which will be, in any case, difficult, I think that the EU should always remain cool-headed and solution-oriented. We should put all our efforts towards reaching a deal. This is a spirit in which I, with the trust of the institutions and all member states, will continue working. The EU 27 is on track to make sure that the UK's withdrawal happens in an orderly fashion. The UK's decision to leave the European Union has now caused 10 months of uncertainty. We need to remove that uncertainty. It is high time to start negotiating. As soon as the UK is ready to come to the table, we shall start negotiating. The clock is ticking. And I'm ready now to answer to your questions.